What's up, everybody? How we doing? We are so close to Eagles football. How about that? It's Tuesday night hangout, as always, the live Q&A, but also got some news because the drop of the roster situation, everything like that. But shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate it. Just a little bit behind here, but I'll give as many shout outs as possible. Y'all know the drill. Just let me know where you're listening from, and I'll give you a quick shout out there. Dr. Bill, what's up? Michael H, Tequila. Jack, Eagle 1, Philly Fanatic, Shake Man Genetics, Michael Toten, I believe is how I say the last name. Love when I get to watch live. There you go. Fanny, hey Josh and all you cool kids. What's up? How we doing? Josh B, I don't know if I said that already. Let's see, JST Castan and Jared Ziegler. I'm sure there's lots of others as well, but appreciate you guys. I mean, we are literally almost there. Got a couple more nights. Friday night game is going to feel weird. We've already talked about that, but it's going to be a little bit strange having a Friday night football game, which we'll be live streaming for and hanging out. You guys know that. So there will still be a Friday night hangout, but also going to be one Thursday. My twin brother is going to come on. He's he's a Packers fan. So, we'll talk about the game and make it into a little bit of competitive rivalry, things like that. But we'll see how that goes. John M., what's up? David Ertz, how's it going? Jay Birdie says, hey, Josh, hope you're having a great night. Love the channel. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate that. By the way, I was a little bit late because I was running a fantasy football league here, so that's my apologies. Took a while. So, but we're almost there, trying to move as quickly as possible. And this thing is slowly getting there. Spilled milk, I am, yep. But appreciate you guys. Also, we might as well do this because, why not? Get people involved in the action here. There we go. I think that worked. Trying to make sure. Well, it's having a little bit of delay. Maybe not. Technical difficulty. I don't think that worked, actually. Let's see. Did it actually go through? There we go. One of them at least showed up. I don't know if the other one actually worked. I was trying to give... I think it did. Believe that it said that it did. But there you go. Frank Welsh, you got a membership. BLIB. Ace Flame, Amanda, and Jason A-Team. You guys all got memberships. Congratulations to the Philly Special Show. Heck yeah. But of course, yes, we must get into the news. And again, shout out to everybody else if I didn't get to mention you directly. I see the comments here. We try to as much as possible. But getting into the actual news and what's going on here, there's it's practice squad news. So, not as big of a deal of signing to the roster, but still some implications. So also, I guess I should really quickly mention as well, Underdog Fantasy, shout out to them, official sponsor of the channel. Everybody asks, hey, giving away so many tickets and giveaways and everything else. A lot of credit to the official sponsor of the channel. So for them, I've got a link in the description as well as pinned comments there. If you want to sign up, you get up to $1,000 in cash, a cash bonus, I guess. If you use the code Philly Special, use the link there, and good luck. I mean, there's lots of props. I'm not going to lie. I've got several already in mind for the Eagles game, and there's a special one coming out on Friday that's a Jalen Hurts basically free square. But anyway, shout out to the sponsor. Appreciate them. And as far as the official news, I guess we should start with the actual news of the roster. If we can get this sized up right. I don't know if I can, but we'll try. There you go. That's about as good as it'll get. But the Eagles announce signing Jack Driscoll back to the squad. Obviously, we know that name very closely. As well as Kyle Phillips, wide receiver. And releasing tight end Kevin Foelsch and safety Caden Stearns. Curious about the thoughts. Ace Flame, you're welcome. Yeah, just gifted the membership. So just gave out to 10 different members. So, and I'm seeing some comments, but I don't get to choose that. But yeah, you got the membership. Good for you. Curious y'all's thoughts on the move there, right? We know Jack Driscoll. It's not the worst signing. Add to the practice squad. You have some depth there. We'll get into Kyle Phillips as well. Of course, you got some moves made with some other guys, but I'm with Remo. Surprised about Stearns. That one to me, of all the four, is the most interesting, is the strangest. I can't quite compute that one. It does make sense as far as, hopefully he recovers from the injury. Hopefully it's not a super, significant that ends up ruining his career or anything like that. Hopefully he can come back. But, and Yeti to be discovered says the same thing. There you go. Yes, Brian, Foelsch has been kind of like back and forth, snip, snap, snip, snap. He's kind of like extra body on the right. He's right there. Apologies to him. I'm guessing that means that he does not end up, well, of course he doesn't, but I'm assuming that's like right before you are basically like, oh yeah, maybe chance of being there, but no, got to move on. Caden Stearns is the surprising though one, again, because you have a guy who, most everyone, if you're not aware, we'll go over this really quickly, but Caden Stearns was a guy who was on the Broncos roster, had some high hopes, right? Played well when he was healthy, and then Vic Fangio, familiar with him. Christian Parker, that's the first guy that got drafted when he was there, so he had input on it as far as the secondary coach. A lot of things that he would like there. Makes sense, but then he gets cut from the Broncos, and the Panthers claim him on the waiver wire. They do a physical. He fails that, and then Philly still goes ahead and signs him. Now, that's okay, except for the fact that Howie Roseman and, well, I guess Vic Fangio was the first one that said this, but Howie had to be on the same mindset. Caden Stearns, they said he won't be available. He basically won't even get on the field for a couple weeks after they signed him. So it's not a surprise that he wasn't really able to get out there. You would assume that they had a more long-term view and a long-term plan with him. And I understand things changed, sure. But I think it's probably more telling to the patella tendon injury that he was rehabbing from of being more significant than they even thought or assumed, and just hoped like, okay, yeah, maybe this guy's going to be available, and he's not. So, yeah, that's about where this one is at. Again, it is surprising to me because I assumed that he would be one of those guys when we talk about a safety of, okay, cool, if he's not available yet, maybe later on down the season, maybe middle of the season, late in the season, if he's able to get healthy, does he find his way onto the active roster? He at least made it on the practice squad, but it was kind of surprising even to get him cut before that. So, I don't know. It's just one of those that can't completely make sense of. Yet here we are. So, all right. Let's see. I got to do... Of course, we're doing this right now, but there we go. It's not the end of the world by any means, but when we talk about safety depth, Sidney Brown's going to be good to go week 6. And sorry, for those people that are wondering, I'm wrapping up a fantasy draft, so we're just doing that as well. Let's see. I know I missed a couple comments. I will get to those. I'm just slowly going through about Stearns, but Farmer J says, Vic must know something about Stearns. I think it's just the health. YTS, what's good, bro? How you doing? I am, definitely looking for Friday. Fanny, I guess I should screenshot the score prediction. For people that are doing the score predictions, I like it. I appreciate that. Jersey Joe, no, I did see the comment earlier. Yes, this shirt, if you type in Eagles Kelly Green shirt or Kelly Green black shirt, that's how I found it initially. It was on Fanatics. I don't know if it's still there, quite honestly, because I got it I think a year ago. The last time that I Googled it, it was not there. John M., I don't auto draft. Not particularly. I prefer not to. So, especially when money's involved, right? We're playing with a league where there's a little bit of money involved. Got a vested interest here. I think that's important. Just about to wrap it up, though. So, let's see. Philly Don Saying here, yeah, I'm sure the Eagles dug deep into Stern's injury and his recovery time. Vic's guy in Denver, good addition to the sideline while recovery, helping guys and letting them see what he sees. That's fair. Get something back for that. Get a little extra insight. Let's see. Is it RAR? I guess it is. RAREX? Maybe that. Let's run it. Let's go. New Vision, I do appreciate that. After watching the coverage of camp, try to be as I don't know, inclusive, or I don't know if that's the right word, but package as much as possible into the videos there. So sometimes it takes a while, but we make it happen. Ken McQuiston, great show, watching from the St. Louis area. There you go. Eagle One, I did not realize the sim for the game. I did see that you were mentioned that earlier, but I didn't realize they were doing that. So 30-27. I'm assuming Eagles win. So that's not bad. We'll take that. Definitely ready for some football. How about everybody else? Feel free to throw out the score predictions as well. We've already got some of those, but, you know. Might potentially, I'll just throw this out there. We might potentially have some sort of contest. I believe it's Skizzy says, love your content, man. I do appreciate that. Might have some sort of contest as far as predicting the score of the game, or could be Saquon Barkley, right? Like he's turning heads as always, which is not really surprising, but I guess getting the eye of Nick Sirianni at practice and saying like, oh yeah, there's still a moment, I guess as of yesterday, that he saw a move that Saquon made in practice and he was like, good gosh, like it's crazy. We have that guy. Like it's unbelievable, but we got him. So that speaks for itself. But okay, Eagle One, yeah, it's on YouTube. Or I didn't see that. But we will. I'll think about that. We'll have to see about a potential prediction, whether it's the score, whether it's Saquon Barkley yards, something along those lines. But, you know, it's a little extra incentive, something to keep track of. So Anthony's going 38-35 birds. We got a barn burner there. We have better kicker. That is true. We do have the better kicker. Reese's Buff. I like that. If we are just 35-17 Eagles, if we get a Birds win like that, Jay Birdie is a lot closer to mine. I think 27-24 is about what I would expect. But, I mean, everyone would sign up for 35-17. JST says 36-13. Is it Afrado? Going 35-28. I love all the wins. Honestly, I'm curious. Does anyone feel like, I know it's hard, almost impossible to say. Does anyone feel like we're going to lose the game? Got a lot of Eagles fans. It's okay if you're feeling like, hey, we got some concerns. Maybe there's more of that as far as what Green Bay brings to the table. Anyone feel that way? Oh, let's go. Super chat. Appreciate the 2, man. Shout out to one of the hardest working guys out there. That is you, bro. By the way, if nobody's following Cole, you're missing out. How about those Chiefs channel? As much as you can, right? Like, Chiefs fans are delusional. They think they're going to win a three-peat. But appreciate you, bro. And as anyone, I think I've told this story many times, but a lot of the inspiration, tons of the inspiration is that guy right there. So, awesome channel, doing amazing stuff. And if it's a little less unbiased, so if you're looking for some other NFL news, like broad general, go check out Cole Breaks the Huddle. You'll like that one. Maybe not as much as, how about those Chiefs? I'm sure that people probably saw the Sirianni short after the Chiefs game. That'd probably be the most likely that you've seen his content because that thing blew up and got a lot of hate. But, all right, I got to show the injury report because that was where we were going, and curious on the score predictions as well. But let's make sure, get this up here. People always curious. Good news, right? This is a little bit different than what we're used to seeing. But there you go. I mean, we don't even have anybody missing practice, just some limited practice. It's not bad. You got some guys getting rest. I don't know exactly this early into the year, but that's fine. Hey, AJ, Landon, get you some rest. Maybe there's a little bit of sickness. I'm just speculating, but maybe a little sickness going around. That was certainly with a couple other guys, I believe, recently. But nonetheless, rest, limited practice. Isaiah Rodgers, hand, texted him. I don't know that anything's serious there. He should be fine, I assume. That's not an official, got a 100% word there, but I'm just going based off of limited texting. And then Devin White. That one's maybe more so strange because I don't think we've seen him on the injury report. If he was, I missed it. So y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Ankle injury. I don't know what's up there. Limited practice. Hopefully that's precautionary and he's going to be fine. We got some more days, right? You got, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So 2 days, 2.5 days. But let's be real. Linebacker is very important for this squad because we don't know exactly what it's going to be. I'm hopeful that we see that, but just like we would say for the safety position, the safety is more so of the injuries that I think there's concern, but the linebacker play is, can the guys play up to the level of their potential? I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully. All right, I am going to check and see too, because there was a comment that I was curious. Reese's Buff, Packers on paper are a very good team, but will never bet against my birds. That's fine, but you got a 35-17? Wasn't that your pick? I mean, that's like a runaway. What is that? I'm curious if that one's more of a, hey, defense. I mean, 17's good. I guess I should say that's good enough from the defense. The defense did solid. Is that more of a offense runs the show, a combined effort, or the defense putting a lot of pressure on Jordan Love? Dion saying, even if any Birds fan did feel that way, no way in the Philly special they're going to say it here. LOL. Maybe so. Although we get some occasionally, right? I mean, it's fine if you're, I'd say it's pessimistic maybe, but it's fine if that's the case. Charles, just seeing your comment. What's up? How's it going? Missed you on Friday, by the way. Let's see. JK12345. That sounds like a burner, but 38-28 Packers. I don't know who that is, but there's the Packers. So Turtles, 31-17 Packers. Okay, so it's not even close. Hunter Gonzo, how many brotherly shoves do you think the Eagles will try on Friday night? I'm going to go with, I think Thomas and I were talking about that before. I may go with a good line for that, 1.5. So I may go with should I take the over? There's no way it's going to be 0. I'll say 2. 2 brotherly shoves. One for me is a get, you're eventually going to get a third one, fourth one, some situation there. You're going to run it once. I'll go 2 though. Take the over 1.5. Frank Welsh, excited to see the young guys on defense. Jesse, what's up? John's going 31-21 Birds. All right, Ray Gerard, Eagles 21-20. Nail biter there, 1 point. Fanny concern is getting off the field on 4th down. Okay. I'm assuming maybe Well, it could be fourth down. I'm assuming maybe getting off the field on third down. I hear you. Stopping them regardless. We saw way too much of that last season. Dare I say it can't get any worse. But I mean, it just about can't. Cheesesteak, you got Barkley and Jalen Hurts in fantasy. Let's go. Okay, Reese's Buff, a little bit of both. I like that. JC's going 3. Brotherly Shove. JSC's going 2. Rob's going 2. Charles, all good. No, I knew you were saying you were traveling somewhere, so hopefully Vegas was good. Spilled Milk, 28-24 Packers. Okay, so there's another. There's a couple being close. Charles, 38-21 Birds. Let's go. I hope so. See, that's what I want. I want it to be that dominant, but I can't quite get. And you guys know it's like a what is it? It's like an optimistic, cautious optimism. That's where we're at. Let's see. Got the 5 here. Appreciate it. Let's see. Darilli. Hope I'm saying that right. Let's see. It's going to be a tough game, and I'm nervous, not going to lie. But if our defense shows up, I think we win by 10 plus. Go Birds. Go Birds, baby. Yeah, man, if we can get the pass rush going, that one for me, and I'm totally with you, right? The whole component of the defense. But if we can get the pass rush working, speed up Jordan Love, then they're not as effective, obviously. Maybe we get some turnovers, something to just get the momentum going. But it would be so great to have one game, especially if it's early, like the first game of the season, to say, oh, hey, you guys remember what it was like to start a game and play it from beginning to end in a full complimentary way? We basically never got that. Like, there was hardly any of that last season. So to get one of those would be fantastic, especially to put everything else in the back of, I guess, the back mirror and say, all right, we're moving on. Here we go. I think Bryce Huff, interested to watch him as far as the pass rush goes. Jalen Carter, he's ready. He talked about handling the workload today. Got a chip on his shoulder, working with JD. So, sounds ready. But you got to love Vic Fangio keeping it real, too. Somebody was asking him about Cooper DeJean, saying like, hey, he's going to get there eventually. Michael, I appreciate it. I see the comment. No worries. Larry H., is that the famous helmet in the background? Which one are you talking about? See, I always get confused sidewise. There's the Isaiah Rodgers signed helmet. And, by the way, we should just mention this. There's the LaShawn McCoy signed one, which, what was it, Marvin McFarland apparently won. But, well, he did officially. But we don't know if that's a legit person or if it's a burner account. I've not heard back from Marvin. So as long as you guys keep seeing that helmet there, then that means that he didn't get it. Which, if it's still there come Friday night, then anyone who is on the stream during the game will have a chance to win it. Because I'll do it with somebody live. I'm not doing it again. We're going to draw it. So there's a chance. We've made it, half a week? And he has not claimed it. So, Marvin, if you're watching this stream or you watch it on replay, you have 2.5-ish days left. Otherwise, that helmet is going to somebody else. So, I appreciate you reminding me, Larry. That's a good point. Let's see. Brian, appreciate the 5, dude. Said the Packers O-line is hot garbage. Do you think Fangio dials back the blitz and drops back for coverage sacks or just goes for Love's head? Well, we're probably not going with officially any sort of bounty gate or anything like that. But I hear what you're saying. I don't know. I feel like he's going to use the blitz a little bit. And not that he's a very frequent blitzer anyway, but I feel like he'll do it just situationally, so maybe a little bit less than we might have seen. But I don't know. It really depends on how often are we going to see guys, and even like the formation that the Packers use, but I think it's how often we're going to see a Nolan Smith insert in there, the rotational play, because I do believe that whenever we see Nolan and or Jalyx Hunt out there, even in the limited usage that either one, I guess, could be, you might see some more of, hey, drop back in coverage and try to mix things up. But, does Devin White, is there any concern that he may not play? I don't think there is, but the fact that there's a limited practice with the ankle, I don't know, kind of surprising. I wasn't expecting to see his name there. So if he's not there, does that change things with the components of who you're playing for the inside linebackers? I don't know. But if I had to guess, I would expect maybe a little bit less of the blitzing, at least early on. And then, the beauty is that it felt like last year, a lot of times there was not the ability to make adjustments, especially on the offensive side of the ball, but really both of those. But now you've got a situation where, okay, even if you go through a first half and you're like, okay, this is not looking great. Like, we've got a little bit of concerns here. I assume that you guys feel this way. Let me know if not, but I feel like there's a little bit more of, okay, we can still win this thing. We can still turn things around, even if it doesn't look great off of the first half, which is, again, something that I could not say last season. So positives there. Trying to remain positive. Reese's Buff bold prediction, Quinyon Mitchell gets the Eagles' first interception in this game. I would love it. Rome Jones says Quinyon gets his first pick Friday. A lot of people feeling that. I do appreciate everyone dibsing the helmet and everything there. John Kempsky, 31-14 birds. Let's go. That is even the under, I believe. I think the total's like 48.5. Pac-Manny, I appreciate that. I just saw the comment, but the pod with Justin Pugh, that was fun. I enjoyed that. Yes, John, we will know by the second quarter. We will know at that point what this team is going to be, not for the full season, but just, know for the game situation. Is this game going to be having positive momentum and having good chances, or is it going to be like, all right, well, we got to figure this thing out. There's a lot of areas and maybe the same old type of weaknesses that we saw before. I hope not, but we'll see. Fanny's going with Rodgers getting the first pick. Okay. That'd be kind of cool. Zay did say he's going to have 6 picks and 3 of those for pick sixes this year. Get started on the right foot. Prolific saying big Slay first pick. It was kind of comical hearing Slay and his take on Brazil not wanting to necessarily go down, at least certainly not wanting his family to be there. He's like, I'm going to be in the hotel. I'm not going to be going out, venturing at all, eating hotel food, nothing there to go sightsee, which is fine. It's a business trip. It's take care of business and get back home. But it is, again, pretty comical to me, at least, as far as it goes both ways of some players that are trying to, I don't know if it's save face necessarily, but you got Nick Sirianni's trying to talk himself into some positives, which was 2 days ago, I guess, for the press conference. And then today was a little bit more positive. I don't know if that's hey, we need you to be even more so that way about supporting the game. Jalen Hurts, leader of the offense, being optimistic. That's great. That's fine. Talking about once of a lifetime, getting to go to Brazil, heard that it's beautiful. But then you have some other takes too that it's like, Smitty's no comment about playing in Brazil. AJ saying like, oh yeah, well, they've told us all the things we can't do. So it's basically changed his perspective. And then Slay just flat out being like, nope, I told my family don't come. Like the crime rate and everything there. So it seems like you have all ends of the spectrum as far as what Brazil is. I don't know. I hope and pray everyone stays healthy, that there's no craziness going on. I know that there's crime rates everywhere and all sorts of takes on that. But ultimately, and I've said this before, I really had hoped that this would be a game in Philly just because we were going to go to that game. Regardless of any other, takes that you want to say, it's like, it's a home game. I understand the NFL is trying to grow the game. They're going to make that case. It's ultimately the money grab to continue to grab more of the market. Nonetheless, the hope and goal and prayer is that everyone's safe, everyone gets back, and we move on from there. So, let's see. I think I missed one here. Oh, JK saying, what are the odds on Jordan Davis getting the first interception? I don't even know. Is that a prop that they have there? It'd be insanely ridiculous, I'm sure. Eagle One, let's go. Signed up for Underdog. Heck yeah. Appreciate that. Supports the channel too. Chance to win, and also supporting the channel, which I do post, by the way, for people following on Twitter or even here. I will post the picks usually beforehand, certainly for the NFL season. So you got that from the side as well. Let's see, David M. saying Brandon Graham gets a sack. Fangio did say that BG's not going to be on any sort of snap count, so expects him to be ready to go. Should be playing a decent amount. Thomas, there you go. Having a Eagles watch party at the local bar. There you go. Eagles Nation going to shut down the place. Dirty Air says, I could see the defense having a rough first quarter and then locking down the rest of the game. All right. Eagle One was also going with the first pick. Charles is saying Devin White. Honestly, I mean, I don't know. The more that I think about it, I like that take. Because if we have a linebacker come up with the first interception, I think that'll put a lot of minds to ease, especially with the coverage. So I like that optimism. There you go. Improving, coming out with a bang, too. Let's see here. Tracy, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the air quality, and that's the hard part too, because every time they make a comment about any of it, it's half people are like, "Oh, I'm concerned about it," and I feel like I get half amount of comments that are like, "Oh, air quality's fine. You're not here." Blah blah blah. I did see videos of several people that had flown from Philly and other areas to support the birds that are in Brazil, and they were, I mean, seemed to be okay. I'm not any sort of official, doctor or voice there, but like they seemed okay, so I'm glad to see that. But yeah, I don't know. It's when you go from hearsay and it's impossible to know the, I guess, 100% truth. But hopefully they're all right. Cheesesteak, how much trouble do I get in with the wife cheering when the Eagles beat the Chiefs? Rub it in more reserved because you don't want to sleep on the couch. Yeah, I mean she's pretty. I will say she's pretty good about that. She has come over, obviously, cheering and supporting for my Eagles, but I like to give her a hard time, so I will say that she is the true MVP, as I've said many times. But just so you guys know, and officially that it's stated out there, she absolutely is. Let's see, as far as sacks go, Rome is going Huff first sack, still hoping for a big year from him. Yeti to be discovered is going Keely Ringo first pick. I don't know if that's well, I mean, it's not impossible. I don't know if that's a good thing, though. If it's Keely Ringo with the first pick, Slay is starting and Isaiah Rodgers is most likely starting, and then Quinyon is in the slot. So obviously, yes, injuries happen, rotations, subs. It's not impossible there. I see that, and I'm wondering how exactly has the game played out, and at what point are we talking about that? Adam's question, thoughts on defense actually being able to stop the run? Yeah, that's a very important situation there with the run game. I think that everyone's curious about that. Like, can Jordan Davis be what we hope that he can? What we've wanted to see for a number of seasons? And Fangio's talked about, like, getting in shape and being in better shape. I mean, this is the year, quite honestly. We've mentioned it a couple times, but I think that he's got to show up. Right, he's been there too long to have not done or proven something by this time. There's too much that you ask from him for a former first round pick. That he's got to be able to do it. It's not even a sense of saying, "Hey, get out there on third down." Occasionally, but first two downs, be a run stopper, be a force, take up two blocks, help Jalen Carter to get free, do your job. So if he has the conditioning to be able to play that consistently, once a week, get in the snaps. Clint Hurt's pushing him. Fangio's pushing him. He's a huge wild card. I mean, no pun intended. He's one of the bigger players there, but I'm hopeful. I do want to see, please live up to some sort of hype on that side. It would be nice. The Weary Drifters, I leave for Sao Paulo in the morning. I'm looking forward to the game. Let's go. We're going to the game. Heck yeah. JST, the fantasy football draft is over now. It was okay. I can share it at some point, but yeah, we'll see. Remo says Jalen Carter, sack, fumble coming. All right. Charles is going with at least 2 picks, Devin White and CJ GJ. Man, I think that every time that you're adding to that, I like that even more because the middle of the defense, we have Devin White contributing and the safety position, which there's questions for both of those. Not necessarily saying like, okay, CJ, but just getting production from the middle of the field, which you didn't see as much from anything, yes, secondary-wise, but the middle of the field was wide open. So please, I will absolutely take that. Let's see. The one skybox question there. How many picks do I see Q getting this year? That's a good question. I don't know. How many picks for Q? I'm going to be interested, quite honestly, to see how soon he does potentially move to the outside. Because initially, it does sound like what Fangio said and what we've heard from, or even seen, I guess, from like practices and his reps as the slot, is that he's playing there instead of the outside. But I'm going to just, let's see. I'm going to say 4 interceptions for Q this year. That might be low, but I'm going to go with 4. Let's see. Is it? I'm going to probably butcher this. Is it Ciaran McCloskey? Where has Nolan Smith been? Well, he's with the team still. I don't know. Is that a question of just like play wise or what? I mean, he's been practicing. He's going to be one of those rotations. I'm not sure if that's a more specific. JST answered it, yeah, saying he'll be in the mix. I mean, he will. He's going to get reps. Jay Birdie, Huff first sack. CJ first pick off a deflection. Tequila, where can you get a Quinyon jersey? Go Birds. Probably off of Fanatics. I might need to do a giveaway at some point for that one, especially they changed the number now, so it's 27. Shout out to Eagle One. Unfortunately, that jersey changed after getting his initial number, but it's how it goes sometimes. Philly Don going with Mitchell getting his first interception, jumping a slant across the middle. He almost had one in the preseason. You should have. He was right there. He's got the ability. Yeah, Josh Edmonds going 4. Emmanuel saying 4 to 5. Drew, you must do great in your leagues. Always kicker first. Antonio, what's up? Alex, 4 is pretty high. Okay. I'm trying to be, fairly confident. Charles is saying Q with 4. Okay. I felt like I might say that, and some people are going to be like, no, it's going to be like 5 or 6. So, perfect. Jordan, what's up? Only 3 days left. There you go. Go Birds. We're getting there. Brian, appreciate the 5 more. Says, do you have a curriculum prepared to ensure your kids don't become Cowboys fans being raised in Dallas? You got to instill it at home before preschool. Yeah, that's a very good point, Brian. It helps, I suppose, to already have like the YouTube channel. So that's kind of a going that it's like, all right, hey, we gotta support here. But oh heck yeah, I mean we got so much Eagles gear and like baby outfits and everything else. It's like a given. Bought Swoop whenever we were there. So my daughter sleeps with Swoop, my 2-year-old. They know. They're big fans of the Eagles. She knows what Swoop says, so she makes the eagle noise. Of course, we gotta keep that going, but you're right. They're definitely being indoctrinated correctly. Let's see. I think let's see if I missed one here. Oh, Cheesesteak was saying, yeah, just Saquon for the first TD. It's a good bet, honestly. I think if you get anywhere close, it's too enticing to be like, oh, that's the guy, right? Like that's who we were trying to show off. Basically, we got Saquon Barkley, so you're not going to force it necessarily. But hey, if you got the ball anywhere inside the red zone, I think go ahead, run the football to Saquon, see if you can take advantage, give him the first shot. Jay Birdie questions out of curiosity: do you follow any other sports or sports teams? I do, yeah, not as religiously, I suppose, but golf, big time golf addict. Play it as much as I can, but watch a lot of golf. Follow a decent amount of sports more closely, I will say, around playoff time. But I mean, I would say probably a little bit of everything, I guess, in terms of the major sports. But it's not like I don't know, as ingrained during the regular season. So I'm sure there's lots of people like that, but it's like Eagles year round, and then all the others is just kind of spurts and whenever stuff's going on. Like I'm not even, I love tennis, but I'm not I don't watch a ton of tennis, to be honest. But I enjoy it whenever I do. And so like the U.S. Open be on right now. Absolutely. I'll watch that. But same deal. Like during most of the events, if it's not a major, I kind of be, I guess I couldn't tell you who won that. So I like the competition. I like the storylines. I like stuff like that. The one Skybox. What's your predictions for this game with it being in Brazil? What are you just talking about there? Predictions in terms of like just score? I want to make sure I answer that correctly. Let me know. Mike, I like that. If you live in my house, you don't eat if you're not an Eagle. There you go. Yep. That's even better. Oh, Paul has a good point too, though. Yeah, you don't need to worry about your kids becoming Dallas fans. More worried about Texans fans, like everyone else in Texas. Yeah, that's the jump on the bandwagon, I suppose. Joey, dude, appreciate that. Thanks. Just keep it up. Go Birds. Fanny, yeah, of course. Who doesn't do a parlay? Absolutely. Yes. It's where underdog gets used quite a bit, but yeah, you got to be able to throw some parlays in there. First time touchdown scorer, Saquon. Maybe how many sacks, how many interceptions? Eagles to win. There's quite a bit of those. I'm not gonna lie, quite a bit of those throughout the year. Justin, your dad's a Cowboys fan. Thank God he never put you in baby cowboy gear. Yeah, because then you'd have, who knows how that would have turned out, but you'd also have pictures of it. So, Chris, how much do we got to win by to, win by to actually get our respect back? I don't know. it feels like it takes a decent amount to get our respect back. And I'm not saying that in terms of like as negative of a comment necessarily on like, oh, here's where the Eagles are at, but it just feels like the national media are going to criticize Jalen Hurts and criticize the offense to be like, oh, well, yeah, because they're the super team. So if you don't beat everybody, and even if you don't beat everybody by, taking advantage of it, win a game by 7, 10 points, 14 points, 20 points, then they're going to say, well, look at the Eagles. They're struggling. Now, yeah, last year was that way. But I don't know if we're talking about like national respect and getting that. I don't know what it'll take because it feels like there's always some sort of agenda or some sort of storyline that's working against it in that way, which, to me, I'm like, cool, that's fine. Might be a better place to be in, quite honestly. But I don't know. It's the first week. I know that some people overreact. I try not to. I absolutely want to win. And yeah, if we could win by 20 points and take care of business, be fantastic. But at the same time, there's people that understandably freak out if we lose on the first week. It's not the end of the world. It's not good, obviously, either. But still, it can be okay. I'm not saying that I think that's going to happen. And I'm not saying that, yeah, that's, any sort of like, okay, well, we'll be all right. In the immediate, as soon as something like that happens, you're like, oh my gosh, come on, we gotta do something here. But in the long term, either way, if we win by a big margin or we lose, we wouldn't want to lose by a blowout because then that would be a little bit more worrisome. But it's not the end of the world, or it's not, oh my gosh, we're going undefeated either. For me, at least, I feel like it's kind of an even kill approach on that. So it's just 1 week and starting to feel the team. Personally, I feel like about at the bye week is going to be the point where I may start to, make a few assumptions. Like try not to jump into it too quickly, but by the bye week, you could go, okay, all right, we've made it through week 5, and here's what we are. Whatever our record is, whoever we've beaten, whatever our record, whatever our players individually are playing like, any strengths, weaknesses, we will be getting the addition of Sidney Brown week 6 from what it sounds like. Could be James Bradberry as well, so if there's anything defensively. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of where we're at anyway, trying to remain even killed. The real RMP, 45-37 Eagles. I mean, my gosh, if you're thinking that's gonna be that high scoring of game, you might as well throw the kitchen sink at the total, because I think it's 48.5 for the total. I mean, heck, you almost got there with one team. I mean, I like the Eagles winning. I don't know that I think it's gonna be anywhere close to that number. We'll see though. Maybe it is. It's a shootout in Brazil. Stars asking how many rushing yards for Barkley. What's the? I haven't looked up the props yet. I guess we can. What's the total for it? Do they have it listed yet? They're usually listed pretty early, but I haven't looked at it yet. Here we go. There you go. Rushing yards, 64.5. That's it. 64.5 rushing yards. That's not too bad. I know they don't want to overuse him, but and there's some rust sometimes. 64.5, taking the over on that. That's not a bad pick. You pair that up with could be a Jalen Hurts. Well, there will be a Jalen Hurts free square on Friday released. Yeah. And heck, if you believe that Saquon Barkley is going to get some work early, the first quarter rushing yards total for Saquon Barkley is 13.5. That's all. You think he can get 14 yards or more rushing in the first quarter? I mean, I know that if Green Bay started out with the ball and they worked the clock and took 9 minutes up on one drive, then okay, you're going to have one chance. But still, it's not too bad. I might have to look at that one. That doesn't take much at all. Paul's saying, yeah, make a statement, 20-point win. Fanny doing anytime touchdown score, alternate rush, alternate receiving yards, alternate pass yards. Never do money line. That's fair. You get some good odds, especially if you're going the alt rush and receiving in the opposite direction. And heck, if you hit on the anytime touchdown score, especially depending on who it is. Some people thinking there's going to be a shootout. Jesse says rookie running back scoring a touchdown. So I guess Will Shipley, I'm assuming. Antonio, that's the truth. We've always been underdogs. Who cares? It's a Philly thing. Chris, you're not. I have news for you. You're not winning fantasy football this year. I appreciate you saying good luck, but you won't be winning. Although I do agree, yes. It's key is third down. I agree with you there. Young Chip saying Eagles 28-7. If we hold Green Bay to 7, heck yeah. Harry, what's good, man? David's got Saquon going off for 150. Heck yeah, week 1. Charles is going, man, he's going to have a night. Barkley, 105 rushing yards, 79 receiving, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, I might just take all the overs on every one of these things. I mean, it's 2.5 receptions. They only have 15.5 receiving yards for the game. For Saquon Barkley, underdog is 15.5 receiving yards for the entire game for Saquon Barkley. It's not bad. It's a lot of good odds there, good chances. I'm gonna have to put something together. I usually do, like I said, but seeing that now, because I hadn't taken a look either. But for underdog, 64.5 total for the game rushing and only 15.5 receiving. That's crazy. JK, you are crazy, bro. 100 rushing yards for Saquon on 35 carries. Saquon is not carrying the ball 35 times. I can guarantee you he is not carrying the ball 35 times. He may not even get half of that, but there's no way first game out, they're like, oh, hey, here you go. Let's immediately start running the football. Just every single day. I mean, 35 carries. What is that like one every other play? They're not going to just run him into the ground on the only he won't get 35 carries in any game this season. I'll just say that. I'll put it on the record. I don't care that we're a running team. It doesn't mean that Saquon's getting 35 carries. You can have 35 carries as a team. You can even have more than that. Saquon's going to have maybe 20 carries. Like, I would still be a little bit surprised if he has 20 carries. But, no, you're going to get Kenny Gainwell involved. You're going to get Will Shipley. There's no way in my mind 35 carries. That'd be crazy. Jamar, that's a good point. Yep, I forgot about that. But yeah, he had 86 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns last year versus Green Bay, and that was with a terrible O-line. So he will be with a better one now. Jason going 17 carries. See, that's I can believe that more. Hodge for 3. Well, if it rains, 35 sounds reasonable. Even if it rains, I'm telling you. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'll certainly admit it. But I'm telling you, there's just no. I don't care what the weather is. I don't care if it's hey, we got to run like almost every single play. They're gonna. There's just no way they look at Saquon Barkley and they're like, yeah, let's go ahead and just run him 35 times in the first game. That would be nuts. I can't believe that. Certainly, if it's good weather, there's no way that Saquon's getting that many carries. Yeah, there you go. We're going to see play action from the run game. Cheesesteak, this is not the last live chat for the game. Thursday night, I'm going to do one, and then obviously Friday night hangout, but that'll be the game stream. So, yes, we will have the live stream Thursday, and my twin brother's going to be joining on that as well. So, but no worries. Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to rain. I saw that comment from Justin. Star, nobody wants to hear me sing. I'm totally on board whenever everybody's here, but whenever I'm by myself, and I know that we're here as like a stream, but nobody wants to hear that. Absolutely not. Yeah. Is it? Let's see. What is the weather in Sao Paulo for Friday night? Yeah, it does not appear to be any sort of rain. Also, I don't know. Someone may know this more. Even if it were, I believe, doesn't that stadium have the retractable roof? It doesn't look like it's going to matter. It seems like there's very little chance of rain. Weather Channel saying 10%, I believe, 10% chance of precipitation. Very unlikely. Daphne, yeah, I'll give a shout out to Thomas. All right, there you go, Thomas. Let's see. Hello, my Thomas. I think you said husband earlier, and I missed that. Yeah, husband Thomas told me about your channel. Can you give me a shout out? Shout out to Thomas. What's up? Not a bad name there. Appreciate him telling you about the channel. Yeah, Hurts will run. He'll run some, maybe not a ton, but he'll run. Okay, I got to get this super chat because Donnell, I think I missed it, so my apologies. I'm getting to it here. Appreciate the 5. Sorry, I was delayed in going through some of the other comments. Says, we always look at the negative. What if this don't work, or Dean sucks, or our pass rush don't get home? What if we do work and defense is very good? That is a good question. It's a fair point. What if we are? What if the defense actually surpasses expectations and it's the offense that we're sitting there going like, hang on. They're not holding up their end of the bargain, but the defense is. You know, what if you get a lower scoring defense taking care of business? It's probably more unlikely, but it's not impossible. All of a sudden you have like a, 17-13 game, something like that. Yeah, it's not a fun one for sure. But again, you can't say that it's impossible because we have seen crazier things happen. Justin, I hear you. I don't want any more rain. We had way too many of those last year. Let's see. And it looks like it's going to be great weather, actually. 71 is the high, and 61 is the low on Friday. And that's fantastic. It's going to be humid. But, I mean, heck, at 71 degrees, it's not too bad. Micah. Yes, so my twin bro is a Packers fan. I've mentioned that, I think, a couple times. But I've got a couple brothers, so Chris, you're not wrong. One of my other brothers is a Cowboys fan, but not my twin brother. He's a Packers fan. That's the reason we'll have him on in a couple nights on Thursday. You guys can ask him just about whatever, and we'll talk about the game. But yes, Antonio brings up a good question, good point, because we were talking about earlier as far as the roster and the positions, or I guess the changes that were made. So I'll get back to that as well. I can get the graphic up just so that it is up there for people to see. And John, you are correct, by the way. The defense, if the defense is solid, we're going to roll everyone. Like, that's the main question and concern. If the defense is solid, I'm not worried. I know that most people are not worried, but I'm not worried about the offense. And if the defense holds up its end of the bargain or actually surpasses that, then look out. But going back to the roster move, because we talked about Jack Driscoll. Everyone knows there. Release Kevin Foelsch. We talked about Caden Stearns, kind of a strange one. Maybe he finds his way back at some point if he's healthier. Wish him well, but clearly something was off, so they're going to go ahead and move on. Especially because these are not major moves. Like if you needed one spot and you said, oh, Caden Stearns is still, maybe worth a risk, then all right, release Kevin Foelsch, sign Driscoll, sign Kyle Phillips, one of them, and keep the other. But they let go of both. Kyle Phillips is, it's also one of those where I'm like, I don't know. He's a former 5th-round pick out of UCLA. He's okay. Tennessee drafted him. Didn't really work out. He played, I was looking it up earlier. I think he played like 190-something offensive snaps, had 23 catches on 35 targets for like 290 yards and no touchdowns. Nothing crazy. Average on those receptions, not that great either. So, all of that combined, I guess it's a little bit of a, it's not an, it's an okay average. But really, punt returns, I think that might be, you just see the versatility of him and go, okay, well, add him to practice squad. If Britton Covey were to get hurt, if you really needed someone for the punt return, you can bring him up for 3 games. So that's probably how I feel that one shaken out with Kyle Phillips there. Because, he's got I think 9 punt returns in his career with a 9.4 average, if I'm not mistaken. So it's one of those where he's a guy that, like I say, if you need someone from the practice squad, granted, you still have hey, do you want a Cooper DeJean return punts? You want Anaya Smith to return punts? Obviously, IR coming back, but Isaiah Rodgers, I don't know if you necessarily Kenny Gainwell where he falls within the depth chart, but you have other options too before you even had to bring him up. But maybe they looked at it and said, worst comes to worst, Britton Covey gets injured. We may not have a guy. We could potentially add someone. And like we were talking about earlier, it just speaks again to the lack of confidence you have in Caden Stearns in quickly coming back at all or being able to contribute. So they go ahead and move forward with that. I don't know that it's obviously any sort of practice squad signing is not a significant move, but it's nothing that it's like, oh my gosh, hey, we signed this guy. This is going to be incredible, phenomenal for the roster, changing things around. Maybe he's going to get onto the active roster at some point. I highly doubt it. It would have to be probably an injury situation in my mind. But, it's what Howie does, constantly looking at the roster. How do you make it better? How do you add some different guys? And he's not going to just sit quietly. So good for him. Yeah, Weedosaurus. I think I was mentioning that earlier. So much for Stearns and his Fangio and Christian Parker connection, too. So. I'm just catching up on some of these comments. My kid, thank God I can live with that then. Yeah, if he was a Cowboys fan, I don't know if we'll have any of the brothers that are Cowboys fans. No offense to them, but we could potentially live with this one. Not necessarily the others. Let's see. Paulo says no rain. It's dry season over here in Brazil. There you go. I would not know that. Daphne, I think I mentioned some other sports earlier. Kind of into basketball. I played it a bunch growing up, but kind of hit or miss. Big time football, every once in a while I'll watch. Certainly in the playoffs, but it's kind of few and far between. Andrew R., you're not incredibly late. I mean, we've been going for about an hour, but I will probably cut this off in about 15 minutes or so, give or take. But any other questions, live Q&A, I'm going to get to some of the other comments as well. But Dr. Bill, that's a good question. Any chance you could do more trivia-based giveaways? Okay, well, see, the beauty is that we are going to start doing that, especially because the season is here. And so we do ticket giveaways for members and occasional giveaways for subscribers for the tickets themselves. Obviously, we have some of the helmets, that we're working with. But, yeah, for the live streams, especially whenever someone does not claim the giveaways, which has happened, and currently nobody's actually claiming the LaShawn McCoy helmet, then it's usually trivia-based. So stay tuned for that. And that way it's automatically to someone on a live stream. We don't have to wait for a delay because, sometimes it'll be up to a week before somebody claims it. But there you go. Shout out to Hunter Gonzo for claiming the Lane Johnson jersey, by the way. So that it got ordered. I don't believe that that's been shipped. John says, no, I'm terrible at trivia. We will still have the just the spin of the wheel if you trust that option too. We've done that. But what's up, Andrew? What's up, bro? Andrew got one of those game tickets. Actually, again, speaking of, it is possible to win based off of someone not claiming their ticket, and then all of a sudden you say, hey, well, here you go. Here's a question. I think that one was trivia based, if I'm not mistaken. John says random rolls for the win. I'll have to think of something. If we went to a partial route of trivia, it won't be full blown because I know that it's a win for some people and some people are like, I don't know. Let's see. I think there's another question earlier. Is your twin identical? Maybe. I don't know. We weren't told officially. We didn't have the DNA test to, I guess, make sure. I don't know. For the longest time, we were told we were fraternal, and then it turns out that we could be identical, and we looked, but we look very, very much alike. There's differences, but yeah, the Nolan Smith would be a good giveaway, or I guess an easy one. People would know that. Josh B says trivia gonna be chaos. John missed it even whenever it was Dunkin' Donut. Brian, appreciate the 2, man. Heck yeah. Going wild tonight. Said, did Thomas ever respond to your road trip story? He did not, actually. I don't know if he heard that or if someone told him about it, but he did not ever text me or say anything. So, as far as I know, no. Christy says, I'm excited for football. Heck yeah, I'm excited. Everybody's excited. Spilled milk. No, I don't know if you were here earlier, but the guy with the bot name, Marvin McFarland, is apparently that name. Whenever I looked in that profile more, Marvin McFarland is his name. I'm with a lot of you that sounds made up, but we'll see if I hear back from him. I emailed him. I commented to him. I posted on the community page and tagged him, as I'm sure a lot of you guys saw. He has not claimed it, so he's got a couple more days. Well, Wheatosaurus, my brother's a doctor, so lot smarter than me. Let's just say that. Right? He's a real boy. Oh, there it is. See, I should just take his word for it. Josh, he said I could have it. All right. Just believe that. As long as you can convince the rest of the chat to believe that that's the case, then okay, maybe we can just hand it to you on Friday. Another Josh. We got a lot of Joshes here tonight. That's great. Eagles win 44-17. Book it. All right. Bro, if they win 44-17, sure. Yeah, I'd love that. In fact, Josh, with the prediction here, if they win 44-17, I'll ship you a jersey of your choice, whatever you want. I would love for it to happen. I really think it's going to be a little closer than that, but yeah, 44-17. If you nail it spot on, I'll ship you a jersey of your choice. Let's see. Josh says, I want the helmet. Yeah. Looney Tunes. Stadium. Do you think our stadium, locker room, or what? The weights needs some renovation? Possibly. I thought it was fairly nice. I mean, getting the tour and going around and seeing it, everything else. I know that they took what was it? The poll or the players, was it the players union who did the poll or the response in the survey for like the locker rooms and things like that? It wasn't a terrible grading. There's a lot of other teams that have like ridiculously terrible situations there. So, I mean, I'm fine. Yeah, you want to give a little money and renovate some stuff, make it a little bit better, which is why they've assumed they've let private equity firms have up to 10% of teams. So, and again, Jeffrey Lurie was looking to, at one point, I don't know if he still is, I think he is, to potentially sell up to 10% of the team. So if he did that, he'd still be the majority owner. There's no changes in control or anything like that. But the amount of valuation there and how much cash he could get on hand, and all right, hey, maybe you turn around and use it to renovate the stadium or some of the facilities, things like that. Christian, there you go. Finally got a live chat early. Heck yeah. And this is the game of the week for sure out of all the NFL games. I feel like they probably won it that way, I would assume. I mean, you would imagine if it's an international game, first Friday night, they probably are going to do that or hope that it is. Mars going with 35-14. Man, I do love the spread there on those scores. Ryan, yes, my wife, Packers fan. What's her opinion on the Brazil game? That's a good question. She's been incredibly busy. I will say that, and again, MVP, absolutely. I don't know. Oh, I think right now it's just kind of like, oh wow, it's like a Friday night game. Kind of strange timing, unusual. Not 100% sure. I don't believe in terms of like, okay, will the Packers run it back in the sense of they got hot later towards the end of the season? So, I feel like a lot of people maybe enter into the season this way about their team, but a cautious optimism similarly of like, all right, you need to see it for a couple weeks, not overreact one way or another, but yeah, you got to see something there. And then especially you throw in the variable of Brazil, it's like, if one team travels well versus one team having some jet lag or just some, I don't know, could be strange things, whatever it is, but yeah, Looney Tunes, no problem. Yeah. Yeah, that's true though. The good point. The Saints is insane. I did see that one also. Some of these comments, some people that just like they're intentionally. Oh my gosh. Nate, what's up, man? 27-20 birds. See, that's getting right closer to what I was saying. I feel like I'm probably in that like the 27-24 for the Eagles, but that range of score is a lot closer to what I'm thinking than those 35-34, the 45-30 like the crazy numbers there. All right, I'm going to go maybe 5 more minutes, maybe a couple more questions, and then I'm going to jump off here. I appreciate everybody joining. Again, we're going to have a live stream Thursday night. That'll be more of a preview, at least talk through some of the game. Twin brothers are going to be here. We'll see how that does. Luke, who's just joining, yes, talked about already. They did sign Jack Driscoll as well as back to the team. Obviously, a familiar name. But Jack Driscoll and wide receiver Kyle Phillips, former fifth-round pick of the Tennessee Titans, and to the practice squad, of course, and releasing tight end Kevin Foelsch and safety Caden Stearns. So the Stearns project is temporarily over. Charles saying we're going to shock a lot of people, though. 38-21. All right. I hope so. Andrew R. question, who scores first? Saquon or Jalen? I'm going to say Jalen, or I'm sorry, I'm going to say Saquon. I said it a second ago. I still believe that's what it's going to be. Saquon, you're going to use him early, at least in a scoring situation. You know, the new Eagle. I think everybody's going to be hyped behind that, especially the O-line. Get him blocking. Justin, I saw that comment too. I'll make sure and answer that one. Yeah, the thoughts on Kyle Brandt saying that we'll miss the playoffs. Here's the thing: it's not impossible. Like, yes, we could miss the playoffs, and then we talked about like, okay, if that were to happen, Sirianni would be gone. It'd be a lot of change. You'd have to try to figure things out. Obviously, very much a loss of a season for this squad, this group, the talent that you have, all that. Like, everyone gets that, but it's not impossible. It's just really, really crazy, like a ridiculous take. It's one of those that, I don't know. Everyone has those types of ridiculous takes, but occasionally, yeah, you have something where you're like, oh, hey, okay, well, there's a very big fan base here, and if I say this, then it's going to blow up, whether they agree with it or not. And a lot of times it's like, well, to go with the contrarian view with Eagles fans, and you're going to get all the views and all the clicks and everybody else because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, can you believe that? So that's the more difficult part. I'm not saying that he doesn't truly believe that. He might actually believe it, but at the same time, you know, having previously worked in that field and knowing what goes into it, I know we all understand it as well, just based on watching and being a part of it. But a lot of times it's like, hey, in a production meeting, you go through and you're like, well, what would be a crazy take that'll get a lot of clicks, a lot of people to view it? Oh, hey, how about we pick maybe the Eagles to not make the playoffs? All right, great, that works. Let's put together, you know, other teams. Again, it's the NFL. Crazier things have happened, but I think it's just a strange take. Charles, I'm seeing your comment here too. I did not notice the colors of the Super Bowl. What were they? Yeah, Nick Wright. Yeah, there's another one. I'm trying not to watch some of those. Heck yeah, Michael. We will have the stream going on, so hopefully it's not too busy at work. And John, love it. All right. Heck yeah. Hopefully get that first win. Looking forward to it. Kevin Watkins, what's up? Okay, Chiefs and Eagles colors. I was trying to search for it, and it wasn't popping up, but I'm going to need to see that. So the conspiracy lives on. Maybe it will. Would love to see it. Luke, I'm seeing that too. Let's see. Sloth. I'm still miss Boston Scott. We've got some good running backs, though. Philly Don, I appreciate that. Means a lot. Christian, I'm not sure if we're going to Cali for the Rams game. It's a thought, but we're still talking about the different potentials there of where we would go. So we haven't decided yet. Oh, for sure. I don't know. Nate was last year debunked on the Super Bowl, or did they still try to spin it in a way? I can't remember now. I'd have to go back and see what that logo is. And yes, as far as the Zay helmet, it's going 75,000 subs. We're getting there. We're close. A little bit less than 2.5 or 2,500 subs. So it's crazy. We're didn't expect to be. I really thought it'd be like, all right, hey, maybe middle of October, something like that. But yeah, got a lot of spammers here. I'm seeing that. Looks like they've created a million different, talking about burners. So Nate's question here. That's a interesting one. Are we going to have a Rashad Penny this year? Someone that's a healthy scratch every damn game? I don't know if I was going to go with someone who's a healthy scratch every game. I would hope not. Maybe you have someone O-line wise that's just, I guess if the O-line's healthy, then maybe you've got someone there that you're like, okay, well, they're going to not play. They're going to be a healthy scratch. But otherwise, you got to imagine that they go back and look at that and say, oh, okay, yeah, well, we've got, that was not the best season. Of course, everyone knows that. But not the best season for, hey, yeah, well, we got this potential guy that we might like, and we continue to dress him, but he's just not going to play. Or we would think about dressing, and then he just doesn't play. So, I don't know. Not sure if there's a particular name that's going to be somebody who's the Rashad Penny of last year. There's no Will Shipley. Are you kidding me? Like, no, it's absolutely not going to be Will Shipley. There might be an occasional, like, well, maybe not even occasion, like one game. He's the third string running back. He's going to be out there. No, that's definitely not one of those. Adam, heck yeah. It's watched you since last season. Somehow just found out you live in Dallas from Justin Pewpod. Well, there you go. Now you know. All right. I'm going to jump off. I appreciate you guys hanging out. It was a blast. Again, we will have tomorrow night, Thomas and I will be doing the Wednesday link, and then Thursday, live stream, just a little preview for the game with the Twin Bro, and then also Friday, come hang out, the live stream for the game, and going to be reacting to it, all the different highlights and everything else. But, make sure to sub, giving away the helmets. We will give away, well, it's the other side. I keep on getting mixed up, but give away the LaShawn McCoy helmet, signed LaShawn McCoy helmet, assuming that Marvin McFarland is not claiming it. He is not so far. So that's where we're at. Appreciate you guys. Again, just to recap I saw someone else who was asking last second. We signed Jack Driscoll and Kyle Phillips to the practice squad and released Kevin Foelsch and safety Caden Stearns. Kind of strange, but more videos to come, potentially maybe a little bit later here, dropping one, but otherwise it'll be tomorrow. So there'll be a new one coming out soon. As always, appreciate you guys. Till next time, go Birds.